Welcome back to another episode of the MiniBrute Cookbook tutorial series that I'm doing. Today's episode is the Noisy Long Bass by J.B. Arthus. This is a long sustained bass with a decaying noise, suitable for modern electronic music. Carefully adjust VCO2 so it plays a fourth above VCO1. Playing a C3 on the keyboard should result in VCO2 playing an F3. Increase the filter FM2 knob for more random cutoff modulation. Here's what we get. That's what I got, right? If you remember, I think it was the last one or two recipes ago, we were tuning VCO2 to an octave and a third, a minor third above VCO1. This one, and I mentioned that I really like going to a fourth. Well, that's what we're doing. So it is a fourth. So then a minor third would be, from C to D sharp. A major third would be from C to E, and then a fourth would be from C to F. Okay, I remember my music theory now. I actually had to go look it up because I'm a drummer. Give me some grace here, please, and thank you. Anyway, let's get into it. So, as always, we're going to start from a neutral patch. All right, we'll start from a neutral patch. Disconnect all the things. Do everything back to where it's normally. Woo! Ish. Whatever. Oh, Global Tune's like way high for some reason. All right. Whatever. All right, so back to normal. Nothing's happening, as always, right? So let's get some tone going. Now, or if you remember, we're going to have to adjust VCO1 and VCO2 so that they're playing a fourth off of each other, right? So let's start with VCO1. And give me 1 second here. I'm going to put on a tuner. All right, so we're close to being right-ish. All right. So, turn it down just a tiny bit. This is really coming through hot. All right. So let's tune this to, this needs to be a C. Right? We're going to do a C3. Boy, these pots are really touchy. Okay, so we have VCO1 at a C3. That means we're going to need VCO2 to be an F3. So I'm going to put this up. So let's get VCO2 onto a C first. And we can hear that they are pretty close to each other now, right? But we want oscillator 2 to be higher, right? I'm actually just gonna, so I don't have to hold that note. So what we're gonna do is just bring our tune up until we get to an F. And according to my tuner, which you can't see, but it's over there in Studio One. There's about an F, right? So now, if we put them both together again, nice clean fourth. All right. Turn the attenuator 2 back down so the amp's not just continually going. All right, so now we have our synths, or our oscillators tuned. All right, now let's change the characteristics of what's happening. So we already have the saw wave up. So we can use some ultra saw, a lot of it actually. And it may not be readily apparent what's happening in here. So what we're going to do is turn up LFO2 so it happens faster. Right? Now we can hear what the LFO is actually doing with the ultra saw amount. Okay? But the LFO should be set at like a random, sample and hold, but soft. We don't want it to be crazy. That way, kind of moves around in an unpredictable way. You know what I mean? So now that we have the ultra saw set, we have another sound to use. We're going to use the square wave, maybe about 3/4 of that, or half of that, sorry. And we're going to use some pulse width modulation. And the pulse width is set off of LFO1, but since we're not going to modulate that at all, all we're doing is adjusting the timbre of the specific saw wave that we're using, or square wave that we're using, because we're not going to modulate that. We could, but we're not gonna. So I just want just a little bit of, just a little fuzzy on top, right? Just a little bit. And that's just to add a little bit more grit to what's happening, okay? So now we have, basically we have oscillator 1 set up. Except you may notice that we are using the external input, right? So here's what we're doing with that. We're going to take the noise oscillator out in VCO1, put it into the external mix, and then bring that up maybe about half, a little bit lower than half. Now you may be thinking, well, why not just use the noise oscillator? Here's why. Yeah, I haven't figured it out either. I don't know. I think it has something to do with the filter. We'll probably figure it out when we get there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do it how the book says to do it for now, and then we'll get where we're supposed to get to. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is engage. Oh, oscillator 2 needs to still be up too, but there we go. So okay, so let's get the filter going the way it needs to. So we're going to close the filter. Then we're going to open it back up again with the frequency modulation, or the filter modulation, which is going off the ADSR envelope, which is doing nothing yet, right? So let's get some attack so that it sweeps up, some decay so that it has time to come back down, turn the sustain up a little bit so that we know where it comes back down to, and then we're going to turn the release up so that when we release the note, it doesn't just shut off, even though it still does because the attack and decay envelope is still down. So we're going to leave these in gate and once, turn the decay almost all the way up. So now, the filter will stay open where the sustain tells it to, till you let it go, then the filter shuts the rest of the way. You know, but it's not like a ton, right? Okay, so now we have the filter doing kind of what we want it to do. We have the AD envelope doing what we want it to do. We have the filter almost done. So we still need to adjust some of the attenuator, but not because we want the pressure. We actually want LFO2 into the attenuator 1, and then we can adjust LFO2 to taste. Or I'm sorry, LFO2 is already set to taste because it's on that random thing, which it's still going naturally, so it's still going to the ultrasaw amount. It's just not. There you go, you can kind of hear it a little easier now. Right? We're gonna turn that back down to like where we want to put it usably anyway. Right? Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's basically it. Noisy long bass, not a super crazy one, but it's pretty fun. Now we can increase the filter FM knob for more random cutoff modulation. I don't think that was what that meant to be. You notice the RM, or LFO1, that's pre-wired to the LFO1, that's engaged as well. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to try to see what that's going to do. I have RM, I'm turning it up about halfway, and because we're not using LFO1 for anything else just yet, this should be net us some good results here. So not bad. Oh, I forgot the resonance. I forgot to add the resonance. Yeah, that's important. And then, of course, if you want to smooth that back out again, then you can use the brute factor to kind of like back up, you know. You know what I mean? So there you go. It's, you know, it's pretty straightforward. It's just you're just playing a synth. It's just a noisy bass, mixing the oscillators together. Let's see if we can figure out why we're using the noise versus the external instead of the noise oscillator. So here's with the external, or the noise going into the external, you know, right? Now let's switch it to the noise oscillator. Gonna be honest with you, still don't understand the difference. I just don't get it. Well, we haven't used any of the frequency modulation either. Maybe that's it? I think that might be it. Because you're supposedly supposed to add, oh, and some glide. I thought it might have had something to do with the frequency modulation or the glide. I don't know. I don't understand the purpose for taking out of the noise oscillator into the external and then using, other than, I don't, maybe to be able to do something to the noise oscillator and then bring it back in? You know, if you had like some external stuff, which I will be doing another video. Eventually, I'll be doing videos eventually on, you know, more modular type stuff, because I do have the rack brute that goes with this, the Noir version. It attaches to it. It's a beautiful piece of hardware. I don't have very many modules for it right now. I only have two. One's a multi and one is a mixer. So I just don't really, I don't know. I just haven't really tried to make full use of that yet. But there's so many more things that you can do with this thing. The whole purpose of this series is just to go through the basic recipes, just so you can get a feeling and an understanding for what these are supposed to sound like, what you can do with them, maybe inspire you a little bit. But I mean, you know, as you can hear, it's pretty, not a complicated sound. But it is so tasty though. I really like this one too. So anyway, as always, experiment, play around, have fun, see what you come up with, be a good person, and we'll see you in the next video.